Hi, this is KIMI. This is my new haircut. I really like it. Today I will talk about China and why my experience there was not as good as I expected. I have to do the small disclaimer because I really respect Chinese culture and I've been in many countries who speaks Chinese. I've been in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and I have something to compare with, and I'm sure this is not about culture difference of traditional Chinese culture, because I like traditional culture of Chinese tea, I like Chinese food, I like Chinese language. I really respect it. I kind of a little bit understand it because Japanese language use Chinese characters and it doesn't make you fully understand Chinese, but as a person who speaks Japanese you can kind of read it and understand what people mean, and there is so many similarities with Chinese and Japanese. Even the sound is different, but the characters have similarities. But my experience in China was, of course, good, and I had many good friends there, and I cannot say it was really bad. And I don't want to make this video toxic because I'm not really a toxic person. I don't want to do toxic content, but I just wanted to say something out of China, because many things what are happening in China are not going out of China, especially about fashion industry, especially about modeling. And also I want to tell you that I've been in China in October, December 2022. The situation there changes a lot. It can be really different. It was really different before pandemic. It was really different at the COVID time. So I was just there at the time which was not really nice for living there in general. First thing which was really annoying and really stressing is visa preparation. I had to go to China and I signed a contract like 2 years ago, almost 3 for now. But when I signed the contract it was 2020. The conditions and agency were really nice because this is such a famous agency and many good things happened between this agency, and they're quite famous in our industry. And I was really wishing to go there because I really loved them as an agency, because they are a fashion westernized agency who represent themselves as a cool and really not Chinese acting people, which made me quite relaxed, and I wanted to go with them. And the conditions of contract were really nice. So they were like, yes, but this is a pandemic situation, makes us a little bit stressing out, and we don't really know when exactly you will go because we don't know about visa, and China is the most restricted country, so be ready, it will take a lot of time. For 1 year we didn't know the way how to go there, and in 2021 they tell us that we can do Chinese vaccine to go to China, and then we can go to try to prepare visa actually. So in August 2021 they bought tickets for us to go to Serbia to do a vaccine, because there were a few options where we can do a vaccine as a tourist of Chinese vaccine and then do legalization for this Chinese vaccine for embassy. So we went to Serbia a few times, like 2 times to the first shot and second shot. After first shot in Serbia, I got COVID, and between my first shot and second shot, I had a COVID, which was not really strong for me actually. And also it was quite hard to get vaccinated in Serbia because we were one of the first people who went there for vaccination. And I was going with a group of models who goes with different agencies in China, and I was trying to find a way to get vaccinated because it was not that easy. They actually tell us that we need to be residents, and they had no idea about their own law that you can get vaccinated even you are not a resident here. But after all, we changed the tickets once, and like we had many bureaucracy, and I'm a queen of bureaucracy to be honest, so I found a way how to do this. So we got our vaccines, and in autumn when we got a legalization after probably 5 months, I mean at the end of 2021, December, and they tell us, okay, your documents are ready, we extended your work permit, you can go to embassy. Embassy rejected our documents because they were like, our job is not important and we cannot go because the most important person now is IT sector but not models. And we were like, okay, well, we'll wait. And I was already kind of prepared that probably I will not go to China because it looks too stressful to do all these documents, and that was not guaranteed that they would tell us, you know, that we can come to embassy and apply for our documents. Since the war started in March, they tell us that, okay, you can now apply for model documents and come for a model work visa. So we started our visa process, but I already had to go to Korea on another contract. And I had to move the date of Korean contract because the day of application was super late, because there were a big long queue to apply for documents, because they were taking, they had only one application day per 2 weeks, and they took only 10 people to apply for these documents as a foreigner. So the line of people who applied for this visa was quite long, and we had to wait almost 2 months to apply for our documents. So in May, finally, we applied for these documents. In June, I got my visa, and then I had to go to Korea. We were talking with Korean agency that I need to go to China after Korea, so they do not pay for my ticket fee from Korea to go somewhere else, because the Chinese agency is taking me from Korea. And I will do all of my preparations to fly out from Korea to sit on the quarantine in China. And all this preparation took us really long. After my Korean contract, my Chinese agency tell many models, not just to me, that they don't have enough space and enough money, and they kind of becoming bankrupt, and they don't have enough money for following their conditions, which was really bad. And, you know, after I've seen really bad experience of the models who finally came to that agency, so I had to change my agency in China, because they were like, you know, not sure they can make enough money in their businesses because they have lockdowns and all other stuff. So I really changed my agency quite fast, and I didn't expect it's gonna be super cool and nice, because my changes were really fast. But I was really thankful to another Chinese agency for taking me from another agency, because it was quite fast and they decided everything in 2 weeks. And for this kind of thing, I was really thankful, because I didn't want to stuck in Korea and paying for my own to go back to my home, for example. The second part, which I didn't like in China, is internet. Because internet in China works really fast. But if you are a westernized person and you want to use internet as a Western person, you want to watch YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, etc., you need to care about your VPN. And all of us, as a people who lived in a quite, you know, restricted countries, we know a lot about VPN. I'm using VPN since 2015. And I know quite a lot about VPN. But so I paid for many of my VPNs. For my subscriptions, it was paid, nice VPN. I used it before in many countries, and it worked really nice. But when I came to China, guess what? They didn't work. Like, because many millions people use VPN at the same time as you, at the same phone operator, and just the using of VPN is taking a lot of time, and trying to connect to VPN is quite stressful. If you try to connect to VPN through the Wi-Fi, it almost never worked. Almost never. So you use your mobile internet to connect to VPN, and the speed of internet is getting way much lower, like way much. So you can actually wait some time to download some messages to get from friends, for example. But about like YouTube, it was quite easy to watch at the YouTube Premium to, you know, listen what people say, but you cannot look on a picture because it has like full of pixels on a picture, and you were like deciding to listen to the videos. And most of the time VPN is not working really well, and even it works to use all other apps in China, and they really need you to use, for example, Alipay or WeChat like every hour, for example. To go outside to scan the codes, you also need to reconnect back to Chinese internet without VPN, because Alipay and WeChat are not really working with VPN, and you need to disconnect to VPN first, then use WeChat. And sometimes you're just thinking, okay, I will not really turn on VPN because now I will go to metro, then I will leave metro, then I will go to the building. I need to scan the code 2 times. So I have no reason to actually use VPN because it's too annoying, and I will spend a lot of time on disconnecting, connecting again. Probably it will not connect. I will just do not turn it on, and you spend a lot of time out of internet. And I had a case on my birthday when I was at the party with an agency, and my parents called me, my grandparents called me through WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is also blocked in China. And I had to find a way to turn on VPN. It actually didn't work well. And then I was like, okay, they really want to call me. And my grandparents don't know how to use FaceTime, and this is the only one way to use phone with by internet with someone who has iPhone without VPN. But my grandparents had no idea about FaceTime, and they called through WhatsApp, so I was like trying to connect with them, and it didn't work again. So I had to like think what to do, and I had to take a phone of my friend who were connected to VPN, take the phone number of them, add them in WhatsApp, and call from their phones to say thank you for the birthday wishes, because my grandparents were so upset that we cannot talk with them at my birthday time. And it's quite annoying and stressful. You can live like this for a week probably, but you cannot live like this for a couple of months, and this is quite hard and stressful, I think. The third thing I don't like in China, in my experience, is the way how people work and treat each other in a social way. Honestly, I'm feeling okay with societies who have like social way of thinking and society brain kind of thing, because Japan is kind of similar system. I'm quite okay with that. China is a little bit different because people really work as one organism together, and they try to make this work better, and the work is the main part of their lives, and I can kind of understand it and even agree in some way. But at the same time, they have literally no human respect. Like in China, human and you as a public person, as a part of society, don't really exist by yourself. You exist as a system, as a group of people. You can exist as a person, as a part of your agency, as a model who is a small part of the work which makes agency work. You can exist as a member of society who pay taxes. They do not take people individually in general. They don't have personal cases. The good example of what I'm talking about is I've been in Hangzhou. I was going to another city, and as you know, China has many COVID restrictions, and to go to another city you need to do the QR code of your health code another time. So you pass COVID tests every day in Shanghai when I was there. And to go to another city, you need to do all these test things again, and you kind of becoming yellow, which means that you're not green, you're not able to go to all public places in China in another city, because you need to renew your tests in your local city, and then you get a green code since you get all your tests done and all of them are negative. But I got my tests done and all of them were negative, of course, but my test was yellow all of the time. And I had to contact government structures to tell them that my code works wrong and I cannot go somewhere. And in China, it's quite easy. Like, even you don't know to speak Chinese, but you actually can call to government. My Chinese agency helped me to call them. I found a contact in WeChat who I can contact with, and WeChat has the automatic translation from Chinese to any other languages. So you can write in any language, and people will, another person will translate in Chinese, and you will read what people say. And you can understand each other in general in China, which is quite helpful. And I was contacting Chinese government person to tell my problem and that I need to enter building, I need to do my job, I need to enter studio. They're like, yeah, of course we will help you. Like, we need your information. I can see your code is yellow, even it has to be green already. 1 second, we will try to figure it out automatically. Just like, wait a second. So I was waiting for it like hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then I wanted to go to toilet and I was really hungry. And as you may know, with this test, you cannot enter buildings and you cannot go to toilet. So I was just going around the park. The government was like, okay, we can try to figure out your problem. You just need to wait, but we have lunch. So in 1 hour, please contact us again if code is not changing. I was really, really tired and I was almost like crying. It was like, please, like, can you do it now? And they're like, yeah, like, we have lunch after lunch, like, we have a 1 hour break. And I'm okay with lunchtime. I never disturb people at the lunchtime. Just my situation is really bad because I contacted them before lunchtime and they didn't help. I have a physical need right now, and my physical condition was not really good, so I was asking them to hurry up, to do it faster. And I had to write that, like, I'm so sorry to tell you that, but I will pee in my pants right now, or I will pee in a park outside in the front of other people, because I cannot wait and I need a green code immediately. And of course the person was like, yeah, sorry, I'm so sorry, we will contact the government right now and we will do that by ourselves. And she's like asking me, or he, I don't know, like, was everything all right? Like, probably your code is already green, and take care, we wish you good time, give us point from 1 to 5. How the government system works. But this is a good example how you exist in a system of group of people. Even the system is working a little bit wrong. They don't really know how to take this individually, that the person's code could be wrong and their personal needs can be really different and quite emergency, and you need to help them right now. Another problem is how Chinese agencies and Chinese people treat models, and in general how Chinese society is treating people. For Chinese people, they are quite rude and they are quite straight. They have problems of working in China because of their COVID restrictions and the big crisis they have right now because of the COVID. But they try to blame everyone around except of their own, not a government, but a system, for example. Because of the pandemic, it's hard to work in China when you have quarantines, when the government put houses on quarantines. And I had a few quarantines during 2 months staying there. But at the same time, agencies do not understand that, like, when system is making everyone stay at home because of the COVID and they have zero COVID tolerance, it's hard to keep the business of fashion industry because you need to be physically on shooting. Instead of that, they called us in probably November already when we stayed at the agency for 1 month, and they were like, all of you guys are fat. Like, exactly, they tell us that we're fat. Contract was not broken, everything was right before, but they were like, no, you look fat, we don't like this, we don't like that. And they were complaining about all of the models, and they were trying to find a reason. For me, it was quite stressful, but, you know, I'm in the industry for a long time, so I can kind of, you know, figure out the stress, and I can stay away from any bullshit what people say. And I can be quite critical to myself, but I understand the difference between critical and just complaining about nothing. I had a girl in our agency, she was such a nice girl, and that was her first trip, and agency was actually screaming and yelling on her that she's not positive enough, that her eyes were not sunshine, and they were trying to find 1,000 reasons why she's not okay for them. They had a contract and she followed all of the subjects on the contract, but still the agency were trying to find 1,000 reasons why they don't like her, instead of saying we have a crisis and we have a problem and it's hard to represent new faces on our market. They were trying to find negative sides of her in a really rude way. They were screaming, yelling on her, telling her that she's a bad person, that she's empty inside, that she has nothing to care about, she is stupid, she's ugly, she's fat, or any other like rude words in a rude way, screaming and yelling on her. This is really disrespect to people in general, and this is how they feel makes other models work better, because they think that if we don't know about ourselves and we can only respect ourselves and we never see our negative sides. For agency, they feel that this amazing, disgusting feedback in a rude way will make you work better and take care of yourself more, which doesn't work this way. It works opposite way, because you get really many mental issues, especially when your mental health is not really stable. And now is such a stressful time in the world, and almost no one from the models is in a stable position. This is like such a big disrespect, and it just shows how Chinese society doesn't really care about other people's feelings. They don't really care about words, what they say. They don't really care about being nice, and they also do not care about reputation in general and institute of reputation, because as long as you have a bad feedback about Chinese agency or Chinese society, they don't care. They care about their own reputation inside of Chinese society, about clients, about other models inside of China, but they don't really care about reputation. And I think the last problem which I had in China, communism society. For people who do not speak Chinese, it feels maybe a little bit less stressing out. But even I do not speak Chinese, looking at the government propaganda every day about how we need to make society perfect, about the son, about the leader who will make you live better, and how you need to work out for your perfect society and for your party, and how this government propaganda is on a street, on a government places, on a public places, in internet, and how people are following this government propaganda and they feel quite okay with that. For me, that was too much. Like, I'm a person who knows how the government propaganda looks like, and I think this is my kind of personal issue, because as I see other people from other countries don't really care about that, especially it's in Chinese and they do not understand that. But for me, as a person who kind of can read Chinese, that was feeling really weird and bad. Like when you just, you know, go on a station and asking your friend to meet in the front of the Apple store on a station of the first communist party station or something like that. Or you go on a street and in the front of your building you see this communist writings, you see this communist logo everywhere, you see these writings about communism, about socialism, about sun. I will show you the pictures here, how it looks like, because I took many pictures. And just me with the Soviet background of my parents just makes me really annoyed and really tired, because I kind of understand what exactly they want to share with society, and we can be different kind of feeling. We can be right, or we can be left, or we can be in the middle, but just the propaganda and the way how much propaganda they have about it is too much. And when you just walk on the bus stations, on a shopping mall, and it's literally everywhere, you're just becoming really stressed, and you feel literally like just a small piece of nowhere, and that the individual and individuality doesn't really exist in China, and you're just becoming really stressed out about it. You feel it from every small piece of your body, and it just makes you feel useless, and mentally it really kind of pushes you on you. If you do not really speak Chinese and you do not really understand what it writes, maybe it feels a little bit different, but for me, who reads in Chinese, I was just quite annoyed. When you see it a few times, it just makes fun and it just looks funny for me. But when you see it every day for a couple of months, it's just, you look on it and you're like, seriously? That was my experience in China and why I didn't like it. I don't want to make it toxic, because I had many good things which I've experienced in China, which I liked, and I met really nice people there, and I'm so thankful for this experience. So thank you for watching. I will try to make more positive opinion, and I will try to do more positive videos about my experience, of course. And this is just a small negative part which I wanted to share with you, and this is just my small opinion. I'm sure it can be really different, because now China kind of changed their government restrictions about COVID and they're becoming more free. So thank you for watching. I'm so sorry for this not really nice topic, but I will do more content in a more positive way about mental health and about modeling, and show you my daily routine. I will tell you about coffee and tea, so stay tuned. Thank you so much. Bye bye.